We would want to know exactly how it started for you, because we see a lot of plastic waste all the time. People drink water, they throw it away, they take in biscuits, they throw it away. But you had the idea of turning plastic waste into something productive, something useful for the good of the society. So what actually inspired you to go into this particular trend?
So a couple of things. I did a degree in marketing in the university, and during my period in school, a waste management program was introduced by the school. It was an optional course for students to take for a year. And I thought in the near future, experts in career fields will require sustainability professionals. So I decided I was going to take that course for a year in anticipating to opportunities that are going to come in the near future. So I took that course. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I took it. That was like more than 13 years ago. I'm somebody who is passionate about problems and always thinking about solutions. I had already gone on to innovate some solutions for a couple of problems, including memory enhancement and brain training solution for students who have learning difficulties, which I've been training young people to deal with learning difficulties. And then in 2017, I got selected for President Obama's Young African Leaders Initiative program. I was in Nigeria for 5 weeks, sponsored by the American government, and I did a civil engagement course whilst I was there. And when I returned to Ghana, I was supposed to do my internship. So I got an opportunity with One Ghana movement led by Senyo Hosi, and I was working on a sanitation project. So I started looking up solutions, strategies, and I started thinking a bit on what can be done. Because I look at the last 20, 30, 40 years, it's the same problem, same kind of solutions, we're in the same place. So what can be done differently? And I've been thinking about ideas, and I write the idea down. I try to see how I can develop it, if I can practice it. So whilst I was working at One Ghana as an intern, the mother company, which is Seaboard is a chamber of bulk oil distributors. We're using their conference room as our office space. And normally when I come to work in the morning, they've done meetings the previous day, and then there are water bottles all over the place. So I tell the cleaner to collect it and put it down for me. When I'm going home, then I take it along. I did this for a while. Then in November, I was like, okay, what can I do with the plastic waste? I'm an artist, but I'm more like, there are two types of art where you can decide what you want to create and use that information to look for resources to create it. Or you can collect the resources, look at the type of resources you have, and use that to influence the kind of art that can be done with the resource. So I do the second one mostly. So I look at the plastic bottles, and then we're in November. So I said, well, Christmas is in December. Can I try out a Christmas tree and see if it will work? So I drew up a plan how it can work, and then I had to experiment to know what kind of tool or device I can use to perforate holes in the plastic bottles. So I came up with all that on my own. It wasn't like something that was already being done by anybody. So I came up with the Christmas tree idea. I got a welder in Medina. I was living in Medina. He made a frame of a tree. And then in the morning, I'll weave some of the rope through the bottles. And then in the evening, I'll weave some more. And then the next day, and then the day before Christmas, I finished the tree. 396 plastic bottles in the Christmas tree. And then I put lights in it. Then I put it on my street. And then I went from home to home along the stretch to invite people to the Christmas event. There was music, there was food, there was poetry, and there was photography. And people, it was a nice idea for people. So even Muslims came out under the Christmas tree, even though it was a Christian event, because of the plastic waste factor.
Looking at your source of funding, you talked about the fact that you have over 200 volunteers for every program or every project that you want to do. How difficult is it to get your fund for the project that you incur?
Right. So when I started the project, one of the questions I had to ask myself was, because of the nature of what I'm doing, where we are doing a lot of experimentation and research, what kind of funding is more sustainable to support the project? There are different kinds of funding. You can fund a project from your pocket, from friends, from family. You can take a bank loan, you can get investors, you can get a partner, you can get grants. But because the project is more to fix a social problem in the area of water sanitation, in the area of youth unemployment, in the area of climate change, and in the area of sustainable communities and cities, I decided to register the project as a social enterprise. And then it allowed us to qualify for grants that are available by international organizations that we can use to develop the project. So in the beginning, it was initially from my pocket, then grants. So I had to set up a website, because with these grants, if you don't have an official website, you cannot apply because it's a mandatory field. So I set up a website, and then also I made sure that we created a narrative around the project. We are telling a story about what we are doing and the kind of problem we are trying to fix. So often we get to apply for some of these grants. Most of the time we've not been successful. But then last year we won a World Bank Group and Netherlands government grant of $10,000 to buy some equipment and set up a workshop, which was good. So that was like the first time we won the grant. Then I also went on to win a peer exchange grant that allowed me to go to the UK for 7 days and be a guest at Brighton University, where I spoke to PhD students about how they can influence their research in the area of waste management, which is very critical. For me, a couple of things influenced my personal journey. I lost my father when I was 11. I lost my mom just before I got admission to the university. I had only just 5,000 cedis when I was entering the university. And I had to find a way to survive in the school system and pay my fees. I even had to defer my course for a year after my third year when I couldn't find money to continue. I had to come back and finish. So I got caught up in a place where I was doing a lot of part-time jobs to survive and to be able to still push my dreams. Now, in terms of seed capital, I don't think I had anything like a seed capital. Anytime I put my hand in my pocket, whatever I find, and I put it inside. That was how it was from the beginning. So
what was the first product you did? Was it the Christmas tree?
Yes.
The Christmas tree was the
first thing we did. The first one was not even a product that we were selling.
Yeah.
It was just to install it in a public place. Then in January, I started doing artworks for hanging on walls. So we do artworks from pieces of waste bottles, shredded bottles, and then shredded plastic waste. And the artworks was the main thing that was pushing the project in the beginning, because we're getting opportunities to attend exhibitions at the embassies and also at international events where we're exhibiting works of art from waste that people have not seen in that manner before. Yeah, so basically that was how I started. So I was always doing it from my pocket. Whatever I find, I push it. If I'm able to sell something, I reinvest the money into the project.
It's been a long journey. What were some of the challenges you had to encounter to get this far?
Well, I think funding is always a challenge for any business. Even the established businesses, sometimes they have challenges with funding. So that one is always there. You have to always find innovative ways of creating a solution. So what we've done is that we've created a couple of portfolios that can allow us to keep revenue coming in the long term. So we have a training program that we run. So companies or communities or individuals can pay for us to run these trainings for them. We've run the training in Ghana and Nigeria. We have the products that we sell. We have public place waste segregation installations that we do. And then I myself, as an artist and an innovator, I do consultancy. So the bigger challenge has been acceptance and adoption of Ghanaians by what I'm doing. So these things you see here, it's new. Nobody's doing it. Not in Ghana, not anywhere on the continent. Globally, the bigger brands like Adidas and Nike are doing jerseys from ocean plastics. But the plastic that is already on the land is not being used in this way. So it's an innovation that globally is something that is very, very new. So getting Ghanaians to adopt and accept that, okay, these things are actually durable, they work. When people see it, they don't believe that one is waste. And then two, they don't believe that it's even durable and strong. Somebody was like, won't it break?
From the way you're speaking, I gather that you draw your inspiration from trying to help people, trying to solve problems in the society. You see waste all around and you don't like it. But when you do what you do, but still you realize that there's still a lot of waste around town. It's easy to give up and just say, I am tired. Because this is the thing I'm trying to help. But at the end of the day, I still go about, even when you take just 2 steps away from here, you are likely to see a plastic waste on the floor. What has been your guiding principle that you have?
I think for me, there's something I always say, that the problem looks big, but it started small. So the solution has to be big, but the solution will also start small. It's the same principle. So the solutions that I'm creating with my team, these are solutions that in the long term will help the country and the continent. So that is my motivation to keep going, even though sometimes it can be frustrating because we've not gotten any support from government.
What would be your advice to the young people looking up to you out there who would want to venture into the field of entrepreneurship, start something on their own, but they are afraid because they don't have money, they don't have the time, they feel there's a lot of work to go into? What would be your advice to the young ones?
For young people who are entering into entrepreneurship, it's a couple of things. You should think about the gains that you will make for yourself, for your community, and for the country, and look at that to push the vision. Normally, you are the one who had the dream. Nobody was there when you had the dream. So when you share the dream with people, they might not believe in the dream. But it doesn't matter. What matters is if you believe in your own dream, if you are willing to push it. Working for people is hard. Entrepreneurship is harder. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you are the cleaner, you are the gate man, you are the MD, you are the errands boy, you are everything. It can be very difficult. It may be easy to work for people. But then if you're working for people and you are not being of value to the company, you can still lose your job. So for young people who want to go into entrepreneurship, they should look at the problems that we have as a country, the bigger problems. Problems create opportunities. So pick a problem that you might be passionate about and ask yourself, what kind of solutions can I create for this problem? And for those who become millionaires, billionaires, and those who make the biggest impact in the world, these are people who find solutions to problems. There's so much problem on the continent. That means there's so much opportunity on the continent.
It's been a revealing encounter with Makafui Awuku. He's the founder and chief executive officer of Mckingtorch Africa. So the next time you think about dropping that plastic waste, you should think about Mckingtorch Africa and the impact they are making in the entire Africa and beyond. Until next time, reporting from Accra, Gloria Kafui Ahiable, the Ghana Report.